In this episode, I cover a very common problem that I suffered from years ago and also see other practitioners making the same mistake. Making decisions on all aspects of our business solely on our emotions and feelings instead of focusing on the facts at hand. A great line I always hear is that facts don't care about your feelings. During this episode, I dive into my own struggles with that over the years and equip you with the right tools and mindset to get out of this trap that will only hold your business back. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop in here real quick before we get into the podcast and just ask a favor. I don't ask a lot of you, but if you haven't gone in and requested or downloaded our free training yet, please go and do that. We are always updating that and trying to make it really just better than any paid course you have out there. Because at the end of the day, my real goal of the Soft Tissue Revolution is to solve the pain pill epidemic by helping people that are injured and in pain get access to quality hands-on soft tissue treatment delivered by people just like you, massage therapists. And I want you to be able to continue getting a better place of understanding about being a clinician first and then a technician. So we're always updating that. And if you get on that list, you also get on our weekly email where we share some insights and deeper stuff that you might not have even heard of before and really help you on that journey to becoming a true solutions provider instead of being focused solely on being a service provider. And if you have downloaded it and you haven't gone through it, please go back and go through it. I think it's a really good program and we put our heart and soul into it. And it would mean the world to me if you go and download that and learn and you can help more people get out of pain. Let's get into the show. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast, where we teach self-employed massage therapists a new treatment system that focuses on working smarter, not harder, allowing them to cut their treatment times by 50% so they can stay healthy and help more people get out of pain. Dr. Matt Maggio here. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the show. Let's jump right into it. Facts don't care about your feelings. This is a podcast I've been meaning to make for a while. I kind of touched upon this on the last episode of understanding with your pricing that you have to look at it from a factual standpoint instead of just like what you want to charge, what you think you can charge, or what people will pay. Really looking at things more from a factual standpoint. We tend to be a very emotional human species and we make a lot of bad decisions solely going on feelings, and it can cause a lot of problems and put you in a bad place. I've made this mistake, many times over my career. I've been at it now for going on my 12th year. Can't believe it's already been 12 years, but I've messed up a lot of things. And a lot of times it was just because I focused on my feelings and didn't look at the facts of what's going on. And I had one really bad fuck up. What's it going on now? Almost 4 years ago. So I had a really awesome clinic, really awesome office. We put a lot of effort into it and built it up. And when I was really humming and doing good, we had 7 employees. What was I doing? It was about $60,000 a month. So I was on pace to do about $750,000 a year. And things were going really, really good, but something just didn't feel right. The office wasn't in the most pristine location. I started thinking I needed to be closer to a bigger city. I needed to make some changes, all sorts of things. So I started in search for finding a new office. Even though things were going really great, my margins were awesome, we were killing it. People were driving from all over the place to come in. I just was like, something doesn't feel right. And I think it was just my ego. I wanted like a really prestigious office inside like a glass building that just spoke, I'm the best, I'm the shit. Our clinics are the best around, and we're already proving that in our own clinics where what I already had. We were crushing it. People were coming in left and right. We had multiple employees. It was going really well, but it just didn't seem like it was enough for me, and that's where my ego really kicked in. So I started searching for new places, and I found this one place, and it looked great. It looked great from the outside, like a 7-story glass building. I was going to be down inside this awesome building and it was going to be amazing and people were going to be so proud of what I had and where I was, and we were going to crush it. I didn't do any real homework. I didn't investigate what was going on in the building. I didn't talk to other tenants in the building. I didn't do my homework on the landlord, all that stuff. And I just blindly signed a lease. I signed a 5-year lease with a personal guarantee. So if you don't know what a personal guarantee is, basically Even if the business goes under, I'm still on the hook for that personally. Never do that when you're signing a lease. Always sign it as your business because you don't want to be put in that place. But I was like, whatever, we're gonna be fine. It's an awesome location. It's gonna go great. We ended up moving there, and actually a lot of patients, like existing patients, were kind of upset that we moved, that came closer to the other place. And then what we found out, we didn't even realize, like, there was a traffic light that turns into that office, and it literally took people 10 minutes to turn in there. Traffic was horrible. Got in there, had a lot of issues just with management and everything like that. Then one day we had a massive rainstorm and we had a huge water leak. Our whole office was flooded. I was like, shit, that's scary. Landlord was an asshole about fixing stuff. Come to find out, the office was just covered in mold, ended up being toxic black mold. But I signed a shitty lease and I really didn't have anything to show for it. And we ended up having to move out of that office and still pay $2,500 a month and go to another place and rent another space while I was doing that because I did not do my homework. I had a really shitty lease. I ended up having to go into litigation, a lot of things. And at the end of the day, it cost me a lot of money, a lot of sanity, a lot of problems, just put me in a really bad place. When it was all said and done, I had to lay off 5 of my staff, and it was just down to me, and I had to start all over again, all because I let my feelings and emotions get the best of me. I didn't slow down, I didn't do my homework, and I put myself in a really bad spot. So what I learned from that is definitely do your homework, slow down, don't get overly excited. Figure out what's going on and really assess where you are, and don't always look for that new shiny object syndrome thing that's just going to be better and put you in a better place, because it really put me in a really, really bad place. I busted my ass to get where I was, and business was doing amazing, and I basically just pissed it all away because of my ego, because of my emotions, because I didn't think critically. I really fucked up, and finally bouncing back from that, but I had to basically start all over again, and that was a hard pill to swallow because it was my own goddamn fault. And that's why I really want you to think about the idea of like facts versus feelings in your business and where you go. Now, there's 2 aspects that I want you to think about for this podcast. One is just going to be how you actually run your own business. I covered this a lot in the last episode, so I won't harp on it too much, but what you actually charge and what you're worth, and getting the best outcomes and best results for what you do, it's going to put you in a whole different level. But having a conversation with yourself, like, can you actually charge more than anyone else? Do you have true value in what you do? Are you the best of the best at what you do? And then just understanding like what you can potentially make. So many people limit where they are, and then they tell themselves this bullshit story that all money doesn't matter and people that have money are greedy and all this stuff, but you're barely getting by. You're having to work another job. You're having to, always struggle, never know where you are. Go back and listen to that podcast. It really helps you understand that and looking at things very factually instead of your feelings. And then the next one was just like picking what techniques you use. So many people out there want to do all sorts of different techniques. They want to have a million different tools in their tool belt. They try every different thing, and they're always hopping, and they never really get good at one thing. And one thing I want to teach you, and I've been trying to teach you through this podcast and through all my content over the years, is the idea that you have to really look at what's called objective data instead of subjective data. So many techniques and systems out there just really focus on the client feels instead of how they function. And that's that whole facts versus feelings. Like, anyone can make you temporarily feel better, but if they're not improving your function, it's actually dangerous and it's going to cause problems. And I see this stuff out there all the time, like instant pain relief, or I worked this one thing and I fixed them miraculously in one visit. That's bullshit. And you're getting sucked into that as well because you're buying into that bullshit and that nonsense as well. And then lastly, just in how you run your business is your own potential and where you're at. I see this all the time, and quite frankly, it pisses me off and it makes me sad. All these therapists are like, oh, I'm fully booked out. Like, don't even ask, not taking on new clients. And they're really comfortable. And that's awesome that you have a booked out practice, but how much better can you be? How many more people can you help? Can you train other people to do what you do? Can you increase your prices? Can you do it faster? Can you do it better than anyone else? Don't get stuck in that comfort because it's a mediocrity trap. for just doing basic shit, and you're so comfortable, but if you have a truly unique set of skills in what you do and you can help more people, help more fucking people. Don't just be like, well, I'm booked, I see 20, 30 a week, I'm cool, I make, 70, 80 grand a year. No, why not make 500 grand a year? Why not make $1 million? Why not help more people and take yourself to the next level? And don't sit there in that mediocrity shit. I fucking hate that. I hate it. Always think how you can grow, how you can get better, how you can do it faster, more efficient, and just help more people, because people need this care. They're not going to get it from the bullshit chiropractors and the physical therapists and the orthopedic surgeons pumping them full of fucking poison and doing surgeries. They need you. And if you have a booked up practice, then teach other people how to get a booked up practice. Continue to grow and continue to get better each and every day. Now, the other aspect of this is just how it works from the treatment process, specifically how you communicate to the client what's happening and how you're fixing the problem. It goes right back to the same thing: objective data versus subjective data. Objective data is real data. And what we teach in my method, the Peak Method, is, we show videos, we show photos, we do functional tests. We show them that they're actually getting better. We don't solely rely on, hey, how do you feel? Because there's so many other factors involved in that. They could be stressed out that day. They could eat like shit. They could sit on their fat ass all day and not move. There could be a lot of things going on. And then what happens is they solely judge the treatment based off how they feel. And you're doing that as well, instead of understanding that if we get them functioning better, we get them moving better, we will eventually get them to feel better. But if you're only trying to take away pain and subjective data, you're going to be chasing your tail around all day, and it's going to be frustrating, and you're going to be in a bad spot, and your clients are going to be in a bad spot too. The next thing in your business and working with your clients is just being a truth teller. There's so many practitioners out there that tell the clients what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. And this really is important. So many people blow smoke up people's asses. These surgeons are like, yeah, we'll just go in there and, shave a little spot off here. You'll be good to go. They don't say the rest of the stuff like, hey, you're going to be laid up for the next 6 weeks. Your arm's not going to be able to move, and your spouse is going to have you wipe your ass, and you're going to have to go do 10 weeks of physical therapy. And you're going to feel like shit. And hey, you actually could get an infection and you might die from the surgery. They don't do that. They make it all, it's going to be this great thing. It's going to be an easy fix. And they're not telling the client what they need to hear. What they're telling them what they want to hear. They're not telling them what they need to hear. And then it's just allowing you as well to be a leader in your business and your practice, not their friend. You know what happens. Like, yeah, I want to be nice to people, but I don't want to be their friend, because what happens is then when you have to be the bad guy and tell them they're doing stupid shit and they're not getting better. This really happens especially along the lines of like load management. The idea of like, the client comes in and they go, oh, well, here's all the dumb shit that I'm doing. I want you to fix that. I'm going to continue to do that stuff. I always say that'd be like going to the dentist and being like, I don't want to have any cavities, but I really don't want to brush and floss my teeth in between. So I need you to take care of that. They'd be like, you're fucking retarded. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but we do this a lot with the clients and where we're at, and it puts us in a bad spot. So you have to be the leader. You don't need to be their friend. Like, when you're their friend, they take advantage of it. They don't respect your boundaries, all that stuff, and it puts you in a bad place. And lastly, I talk about this all the time, not giving discounts. You get stuck in this idea of like being commodity and comparing yourself to everyone else around you. You're like, well, they charge this, so I'm going to charge something around there. It's like, do you have something that's really, truly unique and specialized? And how much would you actually pay for it? Because the problem is when you try to compete on price, you put yourself in a bad spot. You get these people that are price shoppers. They're always looking for a deal. They're a pain in the ass, and they're not going to really invest in the care. And then it makes you just feel dirty and cheap about what you do because you're not charging accordingly. You're having to, scrape the barrel just to get by and have a life, and it's going to put you in a bad spot. So really have a real conversation with yourself and sit down and be like, what am I using emotions too much for? And where am I not looking at facts? Like I said, slow down. Don't get overly excited. Do your homework. Don't fuck up like I did. I think that at the end of the day, that probably cost me at least $250,000. Yeah, I wish I could take that back, but you know what? You learn from your lessons and you don't mess up as you go forward, but really understand you got to be more factual in all facets of your life, in your business, and put feelings aside, because you're just not going to have a clear head when you do it. So that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you letting me rant a little bit. I use a little more choice language. I tried to not be so vulgar, but it's just my way. It's how I am. I'm not going to change how I am. That's just who I am. As I said earlier in the intro as well, if you haven't got the free training, go grab it. I revamp it all the time, and I really put my heart and soul in that to make it better than any paid course you have out there. If you have downloaded it and you haven't gone through it yet, go through and do that. You're going to get a lot of good information, because at the end of the day, I just need to get this care to more people, because I'm sick of like what chiropractors and physical therapists and orthopedic surgeons are getting away with, and why the pain pill problem keeps getting worse and worse. So if you haven't grabbed that, all the information's in the show notes. Go grab that. We also have all our courses available, both online and in person for CEU courses. You got to go through the free training before you do that. So don't reach out and be like, I want to do CEU courses. If you haven't done the free training, go back and do it. Got to follow the steps, because it's a whole system, not just some bullshit technique that's going to teach you how to do a few things and then having to go search for something else. And lastly, just go out there and be fucking great. It's the only thing that truly pays and puts you in a different level than everyone else out there, because the world needs you. The people need more of this care. We have to get this quality hands-on soft tissue treatment to more people so they can stay the hell away from pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make things worse. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you want help on the path to being able to double your income, all while working 50% less and being taken seriously as a healthcare provider, I have some great resources for you. Number one, get access to our free training modules and introduction to my system, the Peak Method. Number two, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Soft Tissue Revolution. Links to all of this can be found in the show notes. Lastly, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with others that you know it could help.